Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which
under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
Brittney just got the shock of her life. And no, it wasn't from a surprise party. Doctors gave her some shocking news about her health that's got her totally freaking out. And to make things even wilder, Caitlin Clark suddenly went off, turning everything upside down. What happened next? Stick around. This crazy story is about to get even more intense, and you won't believe what happens.
Gotta see this. So Brittney Griner has just been banned from the WNBA after this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks from the bench after getting fouled out by Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video, bro.
You've got to see this. Brittney Griner has reportedly been banned from the WNBA after a viral incident involving Caitlin Clark. The drama started when Griner, after fouling out, allegedly made extremely racist remarks from the bench. Things escalated fast. But it doesn't stop there. Griner had a full-blown meltdown. And no, it wasn't over something small. Doctors just hit her with a major truth bomb about her health. And it's shaken things up in a big way. The news is making waves across the league, challenging the WNBA's image and raising serious questions. Yes, we're talking about the same Brittney Griner known for her aggressive on-court behavior, now facing scrutiny from medical experts digging deeper into her biological status. This situation is wild, intense, and far from over.
Who could have predicted that Brittney Griner might get mistaken for a man?
Here's the kicker. For years, we've been told that anyone can just declare themselves a woman and instantly compete in women's sports, no questions asked. Meanwhile, real female athletes are left wondering if they should have just said the magic words too. But Brittney, she didn't just walk in, she muscled her way in, literally. And then came the meltdown. Remember that viral moment when she went after Caitlin Clark? That wasn't just bad sportsmanship, she allegedly called her a trash white girl. Straight up racist. But hey, in today's woke sports world, some people seem to think that kind of behavior just gets a pass.
Brittney Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash white girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and
jail. But hold on, because this is where things really get juicy. The recent medical revelations aren't just some, "Oh, that's interesting," type of news. Nope. They suggest Brittney might have been playing an entirely different game all along. One where the physical advantage she brings isn't just noticeable, it's biological. Undeniable. And the WNBA? Completely silent. Not a word. That silence says everything.
There are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe.
Really, Brittney? Really? Can we switch this Brittney with the other Brittney, please, and bring her back?
This isn't some wild conspiracy theory cooked up by a bunch of internet trolls. We're talking about actual medical professionals, experts, who study bone structure, muscle mass, recovery rates, and injury patterns. And even they're confused. Brittney's frame, her voice, the way she moves, none of it lines up with what they'd expect from the average female athlete. Imagine a doctor looking at the data and going, "Hold up, that's not typical female bone density." Meanwhile, the WNBA's just sitting there, twiddling their thumbs like, "Nothing to see here, folks." The silence? It's louder than ever.
Made a trade for the Merchant of Death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis. You think this was an even trade? The WNBA is nothing more than the WWE with women in basketball shorts.
And to make matters worse, literally Brittney Griner was caught on camera assaulting Caitlin Clark with the subtlety of a wrecking ball. But when you factor in the potential biological advantages she may be hiding under the label of gender identity, that hit isn't just dirty play, it starts to look like outright physical dominance. Unfair dominance. Suddenly that trash white girl rant? It's not just bad sportsmanship, it's gasoline on a fire that's been quietly burning for years. You want to talk about hypocrisy? The WNBA has spent years preaching inclusion and equity. Yet, when it comes to clear biological disparities and racially charged behavior, they sweep it all under the rug. It's like telling every player they're a special snowflake while letting one bulldoze the competition with an unfair edge and a side of racism. Let's be real. If Brittney were a straight white girl pulling this, she wouldn't be elbowing her way to championships. She'd be benched before you could even say, "Virtue signal." And then, there's the wild Instagram AI moment. Remember that video? Brittney's account posted a topless clip that somehow slipped past Instagram's nudity filters. The platform's AI, which usually flags female nudity instantly, didn't even blink. It treated the content like it came from a male athlete. Now maybe that's just a glitch. Or maybe it's the perfect metaphor for this whole situation. A system that's blind to reality, deaf to facts, and working overtime to protect a player who may not even meet the league's own eligibility standards.
Seems that the WNBA is, well, we know it's not a serious league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that, even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million.
Used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross.
Well,
I act like Brittney's panic totally understandable. This isn't just about taking heat for racist comments or the assault on Caitlin Clark. It's about the real possibility that her entire career could unravel. If the medical community's calls for chromosome tests, hormone levels, and bone density scans are taken seriously, Brittney could go from WNBA star to the face of a massive eligibility scandal. We're talking records wiped, awards questioned, and a reputation in shreds. She could become the poster child for why sports leagues need real biological standards, not just "I identify as" policies. And that's not even touching the legal chaos looming in the background. If it turns out Brittney's been competing under false pretenses, brace yourself, lawsuits are going to rain down harder than a slam dunk. Every athlete who lost out on a roster spot, a medal, a contract, they'll be lining up to claim damages. The financial fallout alone could bankrupt a small country. But instead of embracing transparency or setting a fair precedent, the WNBA is choosing silence. Crickets louder than the backlash they're dodging. Hiding behind PR statements and damage control like that'll somehow make it all disappear. Spoiler alert, it won't. The reckoning is still coming.
And that's going to bump up to about $220 million a year. But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear, like they have now that she's been injured. But that is not teaching this league anything. A couple of weeks ago, and even though it went viral, it somewhat got lost in the shuffle. Brittney Griner's effing white girl trash comments that was caught on video. Some people tried to claim it was effing whack call. I'm sorry, there's not a world where I...
Here's the bottom line. Women's sports are meant to provide fair competition for women. But when athletes with clear biological advantages are allowed to compete based solely on identity, not biology, we're not just bending the rules, we're breaking the entire playing field. If Brittney Griner stays in the WNBA with no accountability, no testing, and no transparency, what message does that send to every female athlete grinding day and night to compete fairly? It says their effort doesn't matter. That biology, the very reason we have separate divisions in the first place, is now optional. This isn't just a Brittney Griner issue. It's a crisis shaking the foundation of women's sports. Leagues like the WNBA love to talk about equality and empowerment, but behind the scenes, they've ignored biological reality in favor of political correctness. This isn't about hate or exclusion. It's about protecting the integrity of competition, something every athlete deserves. Sports have always been divided by sex for a reason. Male and female bodies are fundamentally different. Muscle mass, bone density, hormone levels, lung capacity, these aren't trivia facts. They define how athletes perform. Ignoring them isn't progressive, it's reckless. Now, Brittney Griner is becoming the face of that recklessness. The medical concerns being raised aren't coming from fringe groups, they're rooted in decades of scientific research. When experts say her physical traits align more closely with male biology, it's not an attack on her identity. It's a call for fairness. A call to preserve what women's sports were built for: equal opportunity through equal standards.